While we're all waiting for the Switch 2 to release, my wife and I figured we'd take a look at one of the more underrated parts of the Switch's legacy, the Switch Lite. It's an incredibly slim and light handheld that can play modern games just as well as its counterparts for as low as about $115 on the secondhand market. Regardless of how you feel about the Switch's current performance, that's a great deal that other similarly priced handhelds or old smartphones can't manage without severe caveats. There are just a few catches. First, Joy-Cons aren't exactly the most comfortable controllers in the world. There's also no rumble here, no HDMI out, and the buttons feel just a bit different than the standard Joy-Cons. Plus, let's not forget the looming threat of stick drift on Joy-Con sticks, or the fact that the original Switch's LCD isn't exactly the best looking LCD on the market. For fans of the compact handheld like my wife, there are some large trade-offs that need to be made for the sake of its form factor. Or at least there were large trade-offs. These days, Hall effect sticks can minimize the risk of drift, with Joy-Con variants easy to find on Amazon. And, more importantly, Retro Remake, a relatively new hardware manufacturer, now sells OLED panels that can be installed seemingly without too much hassle. While these components do add to the total cost somewhat, they do address the trade-offs head on. So, our question is whether that'd be worth it to breathe new life into our Switch Lite, or even to make the handheld more worthwhile for folks wanting its slim form factor while minimizing the original hardware's trade-offs, especially considering the Switch 2's looking to be a relatively large handheld. Well, my wife and I tried it out for ourselves, and while my wife may have found her new favorite handheld, our overall feelings about the upgrade are kind of mixed. Starting with the materials. To not potentially ruin my wife's personal Switch Lite, we did go with a spare unit we picked up for parts a while back. While functioning perfectly fine, it had some stuck pixels on the display and benefited from a replacement. For the components, we chose to go with some GillyKit sticks and a new Extreme Rate shell off Amazon, as well as the Touch OLED display off Retro Remake's website. Altogether, it cost us an additional about $130 atop the used Switch Lite's $100. Already quite a lot, but still less than buying a new Switch OLED. Although, what's harder to put a price on is time. The installation guide for the display is about 20 minutes long. Toss in the shell swap and new sticks, and I would have estimated going in that it'd probably balloon to around 30 minutes to an hour based on the guide's tone. Well, it wasn't quite as quick on our end. For context, while this was the first time my wife replaced a Switch Lite screen, she does have plenty of experience taking apart and repairing other consoles and controllers. She's not exactly a beginner. Yet, it took her the better part of an afternoon to complete the build. That's not necessarily because the provided guides were bad or hard to follow. It's just that the Switch Lite is a small handheld with a lot of really compact parts. Anyone doing this process for the first time should know going in that it's going to be kind of fiddly and likely take more time than more experienced folks are willing to quote. That's especially true since these aftermarket components aren't exactly manufactured to precision. A good chunk of the time spent working on this device included troubleshooting component placement at the end. At one point, the provided shielding wouldn't quite align to the system's internal screw holes, so we had to remove some of the tabs to make it fit. Then the shell wouldn't close completely because the shielding overhung the console too much. So we had to tear off another big chunk. We were comfortable doing this because, well, we're making a video on it and are using a spare console. I can imagine this process being a lot more nerve-wracking for someone attempting surgery on their own main device. That goes double for the cable situation. Alongside the new panel, Retro Remake added a large ribbon cable with buttons to fine-tune the display's white balance and color modes. I like having those options, but the layout of the wires felt concerning the entire time. Part of the battery connector needed to be folded back on itself and would continually twist its wires until we added some Kapton tape to flatten it out. Worse yet, the placement of the new wire bulge in the area where the shell has a small divot prevented the shell from closing all the way. Eventually, we ran out of solutions and just forced it closed, enough to screw it down at least. But not only is that potentially terrifying to any random person attempting this with their own main console, but it also didn't work 100%. Even with it closed enough to comfortably use, there's still a small bulge at the bottom that's impossible to forget once you see it. All of which is to say, unless you're someone who knows the insides of a Switch Lite like the back of your hand, installing these aftermarket components will likely take longer than quoted and take some serious fiddling to make work perfectly. Depending on your choice of components, some extra tinkering may even be needed. Be sure to set aside a full afternoon to make it work if you're trying it for yourself. Which, after all that extra cost and effort, you might be wondering, was it all worth it? And, well, it depends on how you want to look at it. After the build, the new shells, sticks, and screen give the device an undeniable bit of extra charm. Extreme Rate's matcha colorway and 3DS themed buttons look great and feel great to use. Before the build, I sort of expected something to feel slightly off, but it's all generally the quality of Nintendo's own offering, just with the added extra benefit of a new hyper-customized look. For folks hoping to breathe some fresh air into their Switch Lite, especially years from now, the shell and button combo are a fantastic way to make the console feel new again. Ours even came with a glass screen protector to cover the black bezel from Retro Remake's display. Unfortunately, I'm a bit less excited about the sticks. I greatly appreciate the potential longevity benefits offered by Hall Effect or similar sticks, but they're not quite great beyond that. Don't get me wrong, they work just fine and feel fine to use, and we've experienced no issues during gameplay after calibration. And the functionality is just as good as the original sticks. It's just that they feel a bit off. Compared to our original Switch Lite sticks, they have noticeably less resistance to them. In turn, they offer slightly less tactile feedback and don't feel as good to use. I've noticed this with some other controllers that use Hall Effect sticks, and it's a large reason why I've soured on a lot of the hype around Hall Effect sticks, just in general. Even the potential for less drift over time rings a bit hollow. While we've had a couple pairs of Joy-Cons that we got at launch 8 years ago experience drift, we have many more pairs that haven't experienced an issue after years of use and abuse. The same goes for the sticks in my wife's main Switch Lite, which are more at risk of stick cap degradation than drifting at this point. All of which is to say, these sticks are a decent alternative with reasonable future-proofing for folks in need of a stick swap. But wouldn't be the worst to skip for folks who can't fit them into their budget. Luckily, even with that disappointment, the OLED display proves its worth. It can't be overstated how much difference it brings to the gameplay experience to have a more vibrant display to play Nintendo's colorful first-party titles. It gets both brighter and dimmer than our other Switches and really sells the art style of games like Echoes of Wisdom. Though in its default settings, we did notice that colors were just a bit more saturated than expected, and blacks were just incredibly deep, bordering on crushed. It's particularly noticeable side by side with our other Switch Lite and my Switch OLED how different a feel the display has out of the box. With some fine tuning, we ended up toning down the vibrance a bit to match our preferences, and it's a shame that the tuning requires reopening the Switch Lite, but in all fairness, Nintendo's own panels don't exactly have display controls in software either, beyond a toggle between vibrant and standard modes. Still, that quirk aside, the OLED panel's impressive in how much difference it actually makes. It alone is making my wife question whether she should even go back to her main console. And then finally, some smaller things to note. Beyond the new display and sticks, it's very much the same Switch Lite experience as before. Battery life remains about the same, though I'd imagine keeping the display brightness at max could change that. And it's still ridiculously compact, even compared to many of the Android handhelds on the market. I don't think any of these mods will change folks' opinions about the Switch Lite, but for the right person, it's going to make the total experience using the console just a little bit better. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Is it worth it? Or, another way to put it, if you have a Switch Lite, should you go out and pick up these extra components to mod your own system? And, well, it depends. If you already have a reason to open your device, such as a busted screen or sticks that have failed, it makes sense to potentially consider upgraded options like these. Heck, Retro Remake even sells a solderless HDMI mod for those really itching to make the most out of their Switch Lite. Similarly, if you're in the market to buy a Switch Lite and specifically want these upgrades, this all seems like a good excuse to rescue a console with a busted screen. They tend to sell for much cheaper than intact units. Plus, you get to do a good thing by keeping hardware out of landfills. Whether you're in the need for repairs or you're someone who enjoys tinkering, it's all very nifty and likely to result in a good time, installation jank aside. But for everyone else, it feels like a difficult sell. If you already own a Switch Lite that you're already happy with, it's hard to advocate for doing surgery on it without reason. The differences noted for our modded unit aren't exactly enough to justify the possible anxiety of something going wrong, The new shell, sticks, and screen are very nice to have, but they're not exactly mind-blowing enhancements that make the original hardware configuration irrelevant. It's also a rather large investment. As I said earlier, the components cost us over $100, plus the initial cost of the Switch Lite. For other folks in the US, it's possible those prices could balloon over time as the US government continues to inflate prices for tech crossing the border. It's not exactly an impulse purchase for most people, if the displays are even available when you want them. Currently, they're sold out or on pre-order, and it's unclear how frequently a small business like Retro Remake will be able to restock and ship. Even if you have the money and manage to get the display in hand, you might still experience some jank that'll make your system less polished than it was before. Extra creative folks may be able to mod their devices further to work around these issues, but the average person likely won't feel great at the end of their build. So where does that leave us? Well, between the shell, sticks, and screen, we dig the shell, aren't the most excited about the sticks, and really like the look of the screen. Now that we've made it to the other side of the process, it's a decent build that feels like a great refresh of a console that had just been sitting on our shelves for the past few months. For folks in need of repair or a new project, I've no problem recommending this setup. I'm a huge fan of the final product and hope Nintendo opts for a Switch 2 Lite with similar specs. But if you're fine with your current Switch Lite as it is, don't feel like you're missing out too much. Instead of dropping the cash to add more jank to your system, you could probably just save up money for a Switch 2 later this year. Those have been our thoughts. I'd love to know yours. Are you someone interested in modding your Switch Lite? Or are you someone on the fence about getting a Switch Lite for a similar project and have questions? Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you found this video helpful or informative, go ahead and give it a like to let me know, and then get subscribed for more handheld videos in the future. Testing for this video went a bit differently than usual. While I was around for some of the modding process, my wife completed the build with minimal input from me and spent several weeks testing the new setup herself, mostly with Echoes of Wisdom and Pokemon Shield. In this case, I'm just the confident personality telling y'all about this and presenting our thoughts. But anyway, that's going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. Until next time, catch you later.